Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Like me, I always have great days, honestly. I'm pretty consistent that way, but it's easier to have better days when you've been able to make a chunk of change for your community here. So thanks again for the awesome feedback. A little 20% short from, what, 62,300 for Bitcoin, and then Aptos good 40% last 4 trading days here. So it's been a decent amount of profit coming through. Keep in mind, we're not getting super crazy with our positions. And I want to share that with you too, because those are low leverage, low position size trades. We're not getting super crazy. And again, less trades is more trades, honestly, because we truly don't know what's going on with the market. While it seems like you want to get heavy on shorts, which is probable at this point, you don't want to get too heavy and have your hands in too many cookie jars, right? So me personally, 1 or 2 open trades at a time here and there, let them hit their targets, look for a new one. Works pretty well. So is Solana worth an opportunity right now? Well, let's take a quick look at yesterday's analysis. What was it? Here we go. This is kind of what we looked at yesterday here. Basically, descending trend line, rejection off 142-ish, and down to what, 137. We take a look at the charts here. We can see pretty close, right? We are now testing this resistance level here based on that descending trend line. We may need to redraw out some trend lines here, but we can see that we did, of course, reject out at that level. While it didn't come up to 143, it still continued lower, right? And again, a lot of that is based on the premise of how Bitcoin is performing and how it rejected off at specific levels too, right? So at this point, with Bitcoin providing us with somewhat of a bear flag, still respecting its descending trend there, literally there's like 95% probability the price is going to go down from a technical standpoint. I would say Solana has a propensity to do the same thing. We look at the charts here and you kind of compare how these two coins are behaving, and you can kind of see, oops, wrong direction here, that Solana is fighting to hold this range, but it's still doing poorly compared to Bitcoin. This aggressive wick down to 136, it's completely unnecessary considering how well Bitcoin hasn't even established lower lows in the most recent 12 to 24 hour period. Anyways, those are things I like to look at when I analyze altcoins. And if you're ever scratching your head wondering why, what in the heck is this guy doing? Why is he referencing Bitcoin all the time? Does he love Bitcoin? No, it's just kind of like the mother hen. It does everything. It's your best and your worst friend ever when trading altcoins. So you have to understand the correlation between the two. This basically tells us that Solana is still performing poorly, okay? And that understanding really helps us recognize that, hey, maybe a long position isn't viable right now. Maybe I don't want to buy that dip at 137 just because a few days ago it looked nice. Now it looks pretty bad, right? Different strategies, of course. So let's take a look at the liquidation here and kind of go from there. And I do want to say thanks again to everyone who's always liking the videos and or commenting below. Just like every video, helps us get this in front of more people and less moon boys getting the views, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with them. They're just completely, I almost said the R word. They're idiots, no offense. And I don't really like the fact that they get a lot of people destroyed. See, most people that come over to my community are those who have been destroyed by other people's giving the wrong impression of how crypto trading is. It's not sunglasses and techno music. It's legitimate technical analysis and making sure that you understand that there are actually real things here you can pick up on to increase your odds of success. Manipulation is always going to occur. You're never going to get all right. I mean, I've taken 2 or 3 stop losses this month, but we've offset that with a good 10 to 12 good trades too. So it's okay. It all works out in the end. Anyways, thanks so much. What we're looking at here with liquidation, a majority liquidation has been swept, at least the local liquidation last 7 days. So there's not a ton here really telling us there's like an indicative direction. While we have a decent amount at 146 and maybe a small amount down as low as 135, there's nothing really kind of shifting that momentum and telling us, hey, we got this glaringly obvious scenario here. What is glaringly obvious though is the delta here. We got about 700 million in shorts in the market currently. So obviously, the offset is pretty high, and as that continues to grow, the more likely we are to see the price recover. So there's that too. We may be actually hitting our bottom. If Bitcoin holds 60K, Solana is probably gonna ramp back up and at least pivot within reason. We do take a look here at our open interest. We can recognize 141 is the most amount of open interest here at this point, secondary to the previous level 143. So we see a lot of people in at 141. Again, it makes sense. That was the 0.618 fib level. We're supposed to see a bounce there. That meant nothing. Okay. Speaking of nothing, let's go ahead and remove these fibs here now that we're getting too low to really kind of understand where we're at. I prefer to go with macro fibs when we get into situations like this. So we want to kind of see roughly, because again, this is kind of some bigger plays here. where are we at? All right. Now, again, this might sound like a broken record because when we talked about 0.618 supposed to have held yesterday, we can see this here as well. But this has more confluence, and this is what I like to see here. 134.50, round number 135, as a close approximate. That was a previous daily candlestick closure range that had a lot of support. We can see the support here back at 135 on the 3rd of October. So the likelihood of the price action kind of bottoming out here soon is fairly high. Again, that's a consolation. Bitcoin runs towards 57,000. Different story altogether. Solana is going to dump its ass off, okay? So you got to recognize that, I think the 120s is probable if Bitcoin comes to the 57, 58K range. Is that going to happen today? Possibly. Lately, Bitcoin's been kind of running when it wants to, so it's hard to say specifically, but it's very probable. I mean, if you take a look at this here, just to give you perspective, on my Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, I always post playout charts. And the amount of liquidation for Bitcoin is extremely high. I mean, we're talking 57,000 has about 70 billion in liquidation. So that's a pretty solid amount of liquidation down below the price. And it just seems probable the price is going to go that way. So again, statistics are the statistics and odds are in our favor. The price continues lower. All right. So just kind of understand that as we go through this here. I'll remove this trend line here. We'll start fresh. And we'll take a look here, of course, at where we're at in the overall sense of things. Daily time frame, it's not good. Okay, pretty much the same thing with Bitcoin. Every single moving average has been lost. We are still diverging, both stochastically and MACD-ishly. I just made that up. That sounded really weird when I said it. We are below 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is now officially below the RSI. Generally implying that people's perception of wanting to buy this coin is higher than it is that the money's flowing away from this coin. That's always a bad sign. This is what you refer to as a red dot, I would imagine, on certain indicators, kind of letting you know that we got a significant divergence here. This is a shift in momentum we do not like to see when wanting to take long positions. So, what do you know? Price is going down. All right, so anyways, 4-hour time frame, what does that mean for us? Well, every single moving average is above the price action. Strong resistance in the 140 to 141 range, 140, 142. What do you know? That is coincidentally our area of open interest. Okay. So again, open interest areas can work as resistances or supports depending what side you're on. And the fact that we have that much interest there leads me to believe that that's somewhat of a point of control. Now, if we do kind of zoom out here and we kind of look at our points of control, this is what ever since August-ish, so maybe 2 months worth of trading, we can see we have a pretty definitive 143 as that point of control. So the price happens to travel upwards here. I'm going to be extremely interested in 142 to 143 short, or short at that level. The reason why is because that macro point of control, all moving averages are kind of aggregating themselves right there. So it seems like a perfect point in which the price action will pivot. Again, basically a local low. You can see this type of trend here where the price worked its way down, inevitably broke down. It's a very terrible illustration, but the concept is it was like a descending triangle. And when you retest that lower low, it continued lower. In fact, I was able to identify that with Bitcoin when it had a bearish rectangle, very similar. However, Solana is paired poorly with Bitcoin, so it performed in a triangle pattern. Both are bearish, and what I'm getting at here is this level here, the previous support, if you will. Because you can kind of see it tried many times to break but couldn't, inevitably did. If we retest that area, that's a perfect place to short. Okay, so I'll put that on our playout chart here soon so you kind of understand what I mean by that. But on the 4-hour time frame, we are getting closer to 30 on the RSI. Money flow index is 20. That's generally a pivot point. That's usually where you're going to see the price action recover. Pending Bitcoin doesn't lose 60,000, I think we're going to see a slight relief rally to 141. That point of control, the open interest area, and every single moving average is hanging out right there. That'd be a perfect place to short 141 and 142. Again, I'm hoping we get that. I'm hoping also we see 61.5 from Bitcoin so we can short that bad boy too. Again, there's a lot of the different things that I'm thinking about that haven't taken aim yet, but the concept is all there. So let's take a look at the hourly here and get an estimate here where we're at. Everything is screaming bearish divergence. There is 0 reasons to take a long position with this coin. All right. So I think I reaffirmed that multiple times in my Bitcoin video. If you saw that, I'm sorry if I'm beating a dead horse here, but there's so many people that come over to my community that have been destroyed by other terrible traders. And I'm not proposing to be a phenomenal trader, right? Like my success rate in any given time is probably only about 80% on average. And I'm not taking tons of profit. I take very low amount of trades. But when I take them, they come with precision and things that require patience, and not everybody's up for that. And I just like to kind of impart you with that. Because if you can be more patient, you can be more successful. It's really the bottom line. Stop wearing your sunglasses. Stop playing the techno music and trying to pump up the volume and stuff. Treat this like a business, and you're going to get those kind of results, right? Anyways, I just frustrated to see so many people coming over that have just been completely destroyed by the market, and it sucks. It's not for everyone. Perhaps you don't even have the right temperament for it, but the general consensus is you are who you surround yourself with. So be very careful with who you watch and who you trust, I guess, online. Do the same thing for me too, by all means. Continue to watch and learn, hopefully, and if you find benefit, just keep hitting the like button. It really helps grow the channel. Okay, our local point of control here, based on today's trading, 24-hour trading period rather, or sub 24, we can see 140 is that area. So a lot of confluence, 140, 141, 142. Those are three specific areas of interest for a pretty healthy short if we were to get up to that level. It may not even happen. This is a very terrible pullback, and there's no other way around it. We will probably see a relief rally, but it may not come quite as you expect it to. Okay, all right, I'll post our playout chart here shortly on our Twitter, Telegram, or Discord. Thanks so much again for watching. Do yourself a favor too, take advantage of this exclusive offer from Bitunix, folks. Phenomenal exchange, no KYC or VPN required. This goes for pretty much primarily for our community members who've already used my link to register. You're automatically eligible, but if you want to use the link to do so, you'll be happy to know it's a really good exchange we all love and appreciate. Thanks again, folks. All right, we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye-bye.